is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. It's week 2 of training camp. It hasn't finished up, but it's nearing completion.
Well, it
It's
depends. Oh, well, because they have practice today.
Yeah, like it's not officially over, but you could say it's week 2 because it's the second week training camp has been on the schedule, and it's a lot of the same conversations. Twitter's ablaze with quarterback talk, whose side you on. If you're not on the right side, you're a bad guy, and then you're going to get blasted by people on social media. But we're going to stop all that on here because me and Breezy, try to be somewhat positive and not have all that negative, energy. So I saw something the other day. Well, first of all, hold up. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm guns blazing. I'm ready to jump right in, dive right in to whatever you have planned for today's show. First, I just want to take this time out to say that I truly appreciate everything that you're doing in the content creating world, and
Thanks.
keep up the great work, man. Take your breaks, but come back hard and hit them right on the head, man. Swing for the home runs, bro. Swing for the fences. You're doing a great job.
You are too. I was watching your live stream yesterday. I said hello, and man, you have this way of doing things, man. You could tell that you have that DJ, part of you very. It's to me, it's daunting watching you do it, but for you, it seems like second nature. But you have things very. I'm not scripted out, but very. You have sections to your presentation. Where okay, this part in the beginning is about this, and then we're
I
gonna get to your
try.
super chats. It's that's the only way I think you can keep yourself sane when because you have a great following that watch you. I don't have that problem yet. One day maybe, but so I can kind of concentrate more. But yeah, you do incredible. And it's funny you were asking me about TikTok. I'm like, don't you have? I thought for sure you have a gazillion people on there.
I'm
Just
new to
because
TikTok. I
so am
like
I.
it,
I
but when I watch your videos, I'm like, yo, your growth is like exponential. Like it's far superb. So I'm just like, yo, teach me. Like so
it's
I'm
yeah
always willing to be a student in the game, but I'm always willing to help teach as well. Like so that and I
yeah
think that's how we keep building each other up. Like, wherever I'm weak, help me get strong in where and and that's kind of like how the content that's how life should be, and that's how friendship should be. Like, and no, not two, no two friends are literally like the same. Like, it's the differences that makes us stronger. Like, I'm able to learn from you, you're able to learn from me. And as long as
right.
you have that mindset, you're going to continue to grow. And when we apply that same principle to the 49ers, I mean, you look at the quarterbacks room because that's the biggest story in the NFL. When you look at the
hmm
quarterbacks room, and you listen to the quarterbacks talk, they have that mindset. Brock has that mindset. He's still learning. Trey has that mindset. He's still learning. Sam Darnold has that mindset. He's still learning. And
Right.
and it's cool that they're able to continue to find ways to be students while they find ways to strive to master certain characteristics of their game.
It's funny because sometimes when someone has a maybe a bigger following on you and you on say YouTube or something, you think what could they possibly take from someone who doesn't? But I guess we can always take something from someone. Like I was telling you
Always.
about TikTok. For anybody who posts anything to TikTok, it's all about the tags. Just tag
See?
the hell out of your videos. It's got to be relevant to the content you're putting on there. You're not going to tag Kim Kardashian if you're talking about the 49ers.
Got you.
So, it's a lot of times that's what I do. And some of them get lucky. Like some of them, like official videos, for instance, like a legit video from like a 49er website or something is always going to get more hits than just me talking in the background with a video in front of it, just because it looks official. I still don't know how you do the thing on TikTok where you get the background and the video playing where it doesn't stop at like 15 seconds because I haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, I could teach you that. That's
So
simple.
again, we're all learning. Um, a lot of people in here.
Yeah,
Most of them share the platform. Peachy Brown, she's in here.
that's the
She
one and
said,
only.
"Good morning, Breezy and Aaron. Hope you're having a great day. Good morning, everybody. Thank you coming through. I appreciate that." Uh, Sajid, I hope I said your name right. Uh, I don't know what the first part of that means, but thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. That's saying hello in his faith.
That's
saying
awesome.
good morning. Yeah.
I didn't want to butcher it and look bad, so I just kept it where it was. We got Corey in here. He says good morning.
What's up, Corey?
Brandy Williams in here.
What's up, B?
Hello, how are you? Bashar. He says, what's up there in
The
Breezie?
one and only.
What's up?
I don't know why Bashar doesn't find a way. I started a show called Sizzling Sundays, and I feel like Bashar should take that concept and apply it to his 49ers content because this man can cook. And so like I could cook
he needs
too,
to
but
corner the market.
yeah,
They
he needs to find a way to
like
make
tailgate Sunday meals or something.
You
Here's
get what I'm
pizza.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't have the time to do that and everything else. So I'm gonna put Sizzling Sunday away. But Bashar, if you want to take that and run with it, I mean, your food and your 49ers mindset, like put it together, yo. I'm always trying to help people.
People
man.
don't know he's Iraqi. He's
Yes.
from Iraq.
I don't give.
I didn't know
cook.
that because
Like,
people look at me and they're like, "You're a ginger," and my mom's from Sicily, so like, I totally didn't know that he cooks, you know, the food of his culture, but also he can smash pizza too.
Click his comment. Food fanatics. That's fire, yo. And it could be football. He's thinking of starting a new channel called Food Fanatics.
Where is
and I don't know if you should start a new channel or tie it into your channel and make it for like, you know, football based. I mean, you're a sports guy, so food and sports go together all the time.
Like a vlog thing almost. Like maybe do short videos of like, here is my tailgate meal for the week or the Sunday or something.
I'm just saying.
Keep it 49er related, but also be like, hey, I'm cooking this bomb ass pizza that Aaron on the East Coast, which he can have, but he can't because he doesn't live out here.
And he could do strictly different types of pizzas that represents whoever we're playing that week. So what would be a Seattle-based pizza or Arizona-based pizza? Yo, I just want 5%. That's all I'm asking. Now I'm just playing.
As long as you give us money for the idea, that's all we ask for.
Send me them pizzas via DHL or FedEx or something, man. That's what I want.
We got the great Debbie Ryan in here. She said 49er food fanatics. Yeah, I think she's down with that.
Miss
David
Debbie.
McNiner is in here. Uncle Salty is in here. Everybody, thanks for coming through,
Seattle.
man.
Uncle Salty's in the building.
Man. Twin Empire. I've seen him comment on
listen.
This guy knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff, man. Very, very well spoken. And he just
very
knows
well
everything.
spoken. Very well spoken. I just want to say I seen you on Breezy's channel the other day, and I was just like, oh man, I don't know. Like some people can articulate what they want to say so easily, and I'm just like, okay.
I was in awe too. Like, you know, I was
Twin
just
Empire.
like,
One of these days, man, I maybe I should have you on the channel and just
hit him up.
I'll just sit there. I won't say anything. I'll let you interview yourself because some people are just they don't even need any topics. They're just like, boom, let's go.
That's how I was feeling yesterday, man. I just was like, mute on me.
Yeah, mute the big red guy and just let's go. Hey, I saw something last night that I'm like, we got to start the stream with this.
Okay.
So here is a video that came out yesterday. It is from ESPN. He covers the 49ers. I'm trying to think of his name right now. He's the NFC West guy that covers the San Francisco 49ers. His name is escaping me.
I got to see him.
So essentially, he brought up the topic, and usually we talk about quarterbacks first, but it was a topic of the 49ers window. And, you know, like it just talks about like how they started and where they are and like the type of players that they have and how long can they do this kind of thing. So I'm just going to play the video and then I'll just hit you up with just ask your thoughts about the video and, you know, if there's any validity to anything that he's saying.
Let's do it.
San Francisco.
4 years ago, the 49ers championship window flew open when they surged from also-ran to NFC champions, coming up just short of winning the franchise's 6th Lombardi trophy. In the past 2 seasons, the Niners have come tantalizingly close to returning to the Super Bowl, losing consecutive NFC championship games.
This one is getting chippy here. This has turned into a Philadelphia Flyers hockey game.
Those disappointments have only bolstered the Niners' resolve to finally break through. The core remains in place, with stars like George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, and Fred Warner still in their primes, and emerging young talent such as Dre Greenlaw and Brandon Ayuk helping to form one of the league's best rosters.
They are ready to win now. They are a quarterback away.
The NFL world watched and waited to see what exactly they would do at quarterback in the offseason, but the Niners mostly stood pat, counting on a return to health for Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, while signing Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen as veteran insurance. Instead of big-name hunting at quarterback, the 49ers got back to basics, investing $84 million in defensive tackle Javon Hargrave in hopes he can return their D-line to previous levels of dominance.
And the shutout continues for the 49ers, who haven't given up a second-half point in a month.
New defensive coordinator Steve Wilks has the tall task of replacing DeMeco Ryans, but the Niners believe his track record working with defensive backs, combined with a hard-to-block front, can elevate a defense that finished first in most major statistical categories last season.
This is a system with plenty of weapons, elite play calling. You can get the max value out of these guys.
There are questions, of course, such as how Purdy will fare in his return from off-season elbow surgery, and whether he can build on last season's finishing flourish.
Purdy going to throw it for the end zone for a touchdown!
Nobody in San Francisco knows exactly when that Super Bowl window will close, but they do know it won't stay open forever, which is why this is a team that needs to jump through it as soon as possible.
I don't know who that was. Was
It's
that
Nick Wagner.
That is
It was
Nick. That is Nick. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It said it right at the bottom. I was like, oh, I get to cheat. His name's right
Gotcha.
there. I watched that yesterday and I was like, there's no lies detected here. I told this, my brother's a Dolphins fan, and I've told you that before. And we talk about it. He's like, the Niners got to do it. The players that we have, nobody's going to be young forever. And it's eventually going to have to happen. How do you feel? I mean, when you see all that and they talk about pretty much everything we already know, are you of the mindset that Niners have a window to compete, or are you worried about it right now, or are you just kind of focused on this season and what this season is going to be all about? Because I think to the future, but I also don't want to let it preoccupy me as a fan and just depress me if we don't make it this year.
Right. It's weird, right? I mean, like, is there a window? Again, it depends on how you look at it. Like, I think the Niners are preparing to win now, and they're preparing to win later. And so, like, they're. We talked about them finding ways to remain relevant, but in their relevance, they have to figure out a way to get it done. And getting it done is by winning the Super Bowl. And they're built. Like, they continue to find ways to strive to build the defense. They have one of the highest paid defenses in the league, and that's without paying Nick Bosa yet. So imagine what happens when he gets his contract, which should be happening soon. So look, they realize that we're going to build the defense. Teams are going to have to score on us. And then at the same time, we're going to allow our offense to blossom. And so we saw that. And so, like, that to me is the only thing that they have to figure out, finding ways to keep it consistent. Can they continue to score 30-plus points a game against some of these defenses? Against the NFC, I just don't see how the San Francisco 49ers are going to struggle. The NFC is just not that great. So, if my question to you is, if the 49ers do fail in a weak division, weak conference, I would say that our conference is stronger than the whole damn division. Believe it or not. Like, I think Seattle is going to be tough. And I as bad as the Rams look, I can't count the Rams out because they just got Sean McVay and they a little sneaky. But I don't think Arizona is going to do anything. And if I'm Arizona, I'm not trying to win any games anyway because I want to move on from Kyler Murray and get that first pick. Get that first pick. So I feel like our division is pretty tough, but the NFC as a conference, man, I did an exercise with Mike the other day from Nothing But Niners, and we listed our top 17 teams, and we might not even had like 5 to 6 teams from the NFC total. We may have 7. We may, and that's tough. A lot of the competition is going to be in the AFC, and unfortunately, we play that AFC North this year. Woo-wee. The Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens. I always forget one. It doesn't matter what order I name. And the Browns. And you saw DTR the other night, right? So like we're like, and I'm not saying he's gonna start, but he can add a little spark to the Browns. So the Niners have that defense. They have the pieces on the offense. I think the special teams, even though we don't know what Jake Moody or Zane Gonzalez is going to do, depending on which one they choose to go with, but I think special teams is still up on the up and up. And Twin said this best yesterday on the show. You got to win the game on all three phases: defense, offense, and special teams. And if you're lacking on one, good luck. But one of those areas may be able to overcompensate, but they won't be able to sustain that overcompensation all season long. I don't see any lies detected in what Nick Wagner said. It's just that, can the 49ers find a way to get over this hump? And do they have the talent? Now, can they put it all together? My guess is yes. So they just got to go out and do it.
Yeah, it's with me, it really comes down to, let's not become the butt of a joke on an ESPN special talking about how the 49ers had this loaded team for all these years and couldn't come away with the big one. Let's not be that team. This is, of all years, the biggest, I think, opportunity in the NFC, at least sitting here now in early August, that the Niners, if they don't do it this year, or at least get to the Super Bowl this year, that's all on them. There was a comment that said the Cowboys, the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Eagles, maybe. How do we know that? I'll believe it when I see it with Dallas, because I feel like Dallas every year is in that conversation, and then we get to the playoffs and, it's a done deal. So,
but you still got to count the Cowboys as being.
Oh, they're super talented.
I see, right? Just because they're super talented, but that's crazy. 4 teams.
4 teams.
Like 4. There's got to be 5. And
people
that
keep
5
saying the Lions, but like I don't believe.
You know
not
what?
Yet. Not yet.
I'm gonna chalk them in there. I think the Lions are going to be somewhat dominant. Who's going to beat them in the NFC North? The Vikings. That's another team. So maybe 6 teams. So maybe 6.
So it's just enough for the, it's essentially the playoffs.
For the playoffs.
That's it. That's it. I want to get to Sean Shepard's super chat.
That's my brother right there.
He says, that's my super chat, easily articulated. Ask Breezie, you guys think they'll sign or trade Bosa? You think Taco is our new edge or full of cheese? I hope you're joking about that one.
He's definitely joking. I can tell you that.
Go right ahead.
They're not trading Bosa. They will be signing him. We just got to find a way to develop that word that starts with a P. Because, as a fan, we want him there. I'm sure the organization wants him in the building. I'm sure Nick Bosa wants to be in the building, but until they figure out this contract negotiation, until everything is negotiated and agreed upon, we just going to have to patiently wait. As far as Taco goes, hey, when they picked him up, I wasn't surprised. I didn't think, and a lot of people were like,
right.
Yo, why didn't we go after, Yannick Ngakoue? And it's because you got to pay Nick Bosa. You're not going to give Yannick $10 million and then that's like a slap in Bosa's face. I didn't realize that the contract negotiations were going to take this long when it comes to Nick.
Me neither.
But I'd rather pay Nick and make sure he's here for the next 5 years, over signing Yannick for 1 year. But they went and got a guy that was drafted high, that had really good expectations coming out of college. He came out of Michigan, and I know a lot of people are going to give me flack for this, but I feel like I know him pretty well. When he got to the Cowboys, I just don't think they were able to utilize him properly. And I never discredit a defensive line player. I don't care if they play on the edge or they play interior when they get under Chris Kocurek. I mean, Chris Kocurek made Hassan Ridgeway look good, who the Eagles let go. So think about that. He made T.Y. McGill look good. Think about what he's able to do with players. So I'm hearing Taco Charlton is having a pretty damn good camp. Again, he's one of the most freshest players out there. They did end up signing another edge, my man Dalen. He's going to be on the team as of right now, and he's out there at camp as well because Darryl Johnson, the edge rusher, is on season-ending IR, so he's going to
Yeah, I
be
saw
out for
that.
the season.
Bashar says I'm okay with Nick Bosa thing dragging because he seems gassed in the playoffs. Yeah, take as much
So you're
rest as
trying
he
to say
needs.
give him time off now? But what if that hurts him? What if he's not in football shape?
It will hurt him if they try to go full bore as soon as he comes back. Like if you're gonna work this man, you work him into camp. Yeah, but you don't. He's working out. There's no way he's not sitting home eating pizza.
Listen, you're right. I'm not talking about him being in shape. I said football shape.
Football shape.
Two different
it's
things.
Completely different. Yeah, football shape is different than normal shape. So I agree with that one.
So like that's my only issue.
Yeah, I'm a little scared because, I mean, you look at him how he plays and how he practices. It's full tilt all the time. So like, yeah, you go from doing absolutely nothing on your, working out, all day and, eating tofu. All of a sudden you're on practice field going against Trent Williams. That's a little bit of it's like from A to Z. Like there's no in between. So yeah, I hope he comes back, but at the same time, comes back and takes it slowly, whatever that means for Nick Bosa.
Number one, not a fan of tofu, even though it was in my food the other day and I tore it up, but just not a fan. I would eat it if I had to, But I will say this. I know a lot of people say Nick Bosa was gassed. You know what? I did not realize that Nick Bosa got injured in that NFC Championship game.
He got his legs. I remember that. He
got on the sideline though.
Yeah, somebody did like a leg whip and did like a cleat slash on his.
Aaron, you can't make this up, man.
Only the 49ers.
There it is. You took the words right out of my mouth. You can't make that up, man.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Sorry, I had to go Meatloaf.
You you literally can't make it up, yo. Dude is just on the sideline, minding his BIBI,
getting his Gatorade,
so he can get his electrolytes replenished, and he gets leg whipped, and then he was ineffective the rest of the game.
That game was over so early that.
So what?
Man.
Nick Bosa looked like he was lost in that game, but now we know why. He was playing gingerly. All I'm saying is, I don't know if he was necessarily gassed because I see that in the comment section. I just felt like he got hurt, but he still gave it a shot.
That's all you can do, really, as long as he's given the effort. Yeah. What do you think of Omenahu's suspension?
What did he do? Violate the personal conduct rule for the NFL?
I don't know. Was it? I have no idea. They didn't really say.
Did he hit somebody?
Don't know.
What did he do? What's the personal conduct rule? That's not.
Yeah, does anybody know? Did he do like betting on his team or something? Like that seems.
Oh,
to be
is that
the
a
new
violation
norm.
of the? I thought that was something different.
Oh, if you bet on your team or if you bet on games, if you're in the NFL, it's definitely a finable and a suspensionable. I don't even know if suspensionable is a real word, but I'm going to make it a real word. So.
Oh, I get that, but I just didn't know that was
down?
personal conduct.
True? Is that true, Wally?
It's possible.
Well, then he should be suspended.
I always wanted to say that.
He should be suspended. You don't hit women. I don't care what your
ever.
Let's
hit a wall. Hit a pillow.
Right.
Matter of fact, hit a pillow. Don't hit a wall either. You break your hand.
I was with a crazy chick that used to put her hands on me, and I still didn't hit her.
Right. Listen, we've all been there.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to hit a woman. People are like, I don't care. If I was you, I would have done it. Well, that's you. I just can't. It's like, what if you miss one? What if one time that happens and it's the last time you do it and it's bad? So don't hit women. If that's the case, don't hit women. Let's jump over to something that's just as much of a storyline. That's the QB talk. Every day we're jotting stats down, and depending on who you're listening to, I tweeted this out yesterday, and I wasn't trying to cause any problems. I'm just saying certain people, by how they tweet, you can tell who they're rolling with. It's just you can tell. And I'm not saying you can't have a preference, but
try to keep the biases out.
Yeah, the bias is so obvious with some people. And it is what it is. You can do whatever you want. It's your Twitter. It's your reporting on camp. I'm just saying, just from a perspective of a guy who, kind of wants to stay neutral, even though, I'm kind of a Brock Purdy guy. I keep telling people if Brock Purdy isn't effective and Trey comes in and he is effective, then I'll become a Trey Lance. Like I'm not like so entrenched on one guy or the other. You know what I mean? And so like when I see some of this reporting, I'm like, man, guys, at least try to make it that you don't look like you're completely pulling for one guy. I mean, like the statistics people are jotting down statistics that I didn't know they tracked in training camp and like that. I'm like, what are we doing here? So, are you? What's your take on it, on the quarterback stuff? I mean, every day the reporting is.
Dude, I find one and I just rock with that one person. It's Matt Mayoko.
I'm starting to go with like no offense to the people who do YouTube and stuff, but
I don't care if they get offended. I just go with Matt Mayoko.
Yeah, I go with Matt Mayoko or Barrows or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm just picking one of those guys. There's zero bias in it, and like that even their numbers may be one off slightly, but at the end of the day, like I'm just gonna go with the veteran in the game. That's it. That's what it is. I'm going with the veteran.
Yeah, no hate on anybody, guys. I'm not hating on anybody.
Oh, never. Really you asked me, and I'm just telling you. So I just go with Matt. I go with the veteran, and I make sure I give him his credit. And because he's putting it out there, and even he makes mistakes. And I like the fact when he does make a mistake, he'll put out there, "Sorry for the error," blah blah blah. So that lets me know that we're all human and we can make mistakes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're all human and we make mistakes. But as far as my takes on the quarterbacks, listen, here's my take. And you can chop this up and clip it and make sure, you get everything that I'm about to say in the next 30 seconds. Here we go. The 49ers quarterbacks room is trending up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Everybody, in my opinion, is doing well with what they're asked to do. I don't have any context on what types of plays are being called for Trey, what types of plays are being called for Brock, and what types of plays are being called for Sam Darnold. I have no idea what that is. I don't even think they know, because I was listening to an interview and then I think it was Trey Lance, and it said one of them quarterbacks said that nothing's really played out. Like we get a play, we just run with it. Like there's no script as of yet. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they're ad-libbing. And so I think this is what you want right now before those practices start going against the other team, when you're going to start seeing like game plan type stuff when they practice against the Las Vegas Raiders. You want to know which quarterbacks can play good under duress, which quarterbacks can ad-lib, which quarterbacks can do that. Can they be accurate on their throws if they're moving? So at the end of the day, where is Trey struggling? It sounds like he's struggling with those intermediate throws.
The gimme, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
And what does Brock do well? The gimmies.
The gimmies.
What does Brock struggle with? The
deep throws, right?
So
but isn't this stuff we already knew?
Yeah.
Like, and shouldn't they be working on that?
Yes.
And if they're not,
water is wet, the sky is blue, and these guys have their struggles, and we all know what they are.
And if they're not, hitting those throws, that means they need to continue to work on where their weaknesses are. I thought, Aaron, that's what practice is for. That's what I thought. Like, you work on what you're not good at. Like, what's the point of working on what you're good at when you need to get stronger in what you're not good at? Like, if I know a song that I got to play and I know it, I might go over it. But I'm going to practice the stuff I don't know.
Yeah, like if you can't remember the lyrics to a song, good chance you should probably memorize it.
Figure it out, right? I got to do a song today. It's in my brain right now. You know what I'm saying?
Like I told you, we got to get you to play that Jagged Edge song, "Get Married" or "When I Get Married."
What's going on in the place to be? Yeah, man. Look,
if I get married, that's what I'm playing.
Look, all I'm saying is the quarterbacks competition, controversy, situation, it's just trending upwards. So the good thing is we have three quarterbacks that are doing what they're told, and even if you want to factor in Brandon Allen as well, who I'm not really counting to be on this team, and this is not a shot at him. I just think we go with three quarterbacks, and I don't think he's one of the three. So at the end of the day, mainly he was the last guy here, and I don't think he beats out Sam Darnold, and I know he's not going to beat out Trey Lance. And from what our content creators who are there have been reporting, and shout out to all of them out there.
All of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, they bias or not, they've come out and said which quarterback looks the strongest, which quarterback still needs work, which quarterback does that. I like that. Whether there's narratives or not, they're coming out stating, hey, Trey Lance had a really strong day. He's been the most consistent in practice. Brock Purdy, he struggles in the beginning and finishes strong. Sounds like a 49ers quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. Like Kyle Shanahan starts slow, Brock Purdy starts slow. Next thing you know, they hit you with 30 points in a row. Like that's the Brock Purdy, that's the Kyle Shanahan type of offense, right? He doesn't give it all away. First play sets up the next 17 plays.
That's right.
From down the line.
Everything that Kyle does always has a play that could be ran off of it.
There it is.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes the 49ers offense so, when it's rolling, so hard to deal with.
There it is. I'm more excited about, everybody's stuck on the quarterbacks. There's tons of positions that we're gonna lose players. Wide receivers, cornerbacks, linebackers, tight ends. The freak. That's where I'm like, yo, there's some dope talent.
There is.
And they can't all make the squad, eh?
Like, as far as linebacker goes, the third linebacker, a lot of people, depending on who you talk to, will say D. Winters has been looking great. The other one is Marcelino McCrary Ball. So to me, in my mind, it seems like those two are vying for that number 3 spot. And then whoever's number 4 behind him and as a backup is not going to be he's going to be a pretty good player. And then, you think about who's the odd man out. Is it Flanagan Foles?
See?
Is it, I'm trying to think go ahead.
I'm hearing different. Like I'm hearing the number 3 spot is Oren Burks. And then I'm hearing Flanagan Foles is like almost a lock. So that's 4. So if you add that 5th linebacker, it's that 5th linebacker, that special team back, because 2 of them got to play on special teams.
Right.
And that might be,
so they might keep the exact same guys that we were just talking about, but in a different
order, right?
Yeah, instead of being starters.
Yeah.
You might hear one thing. The D Winters things, I mean,
he had one good day.
Yeah. He picked off Trey. Can I say something about Big Heck? His comment really, really paints a really good picture. He says our defense is playing a major part in the development of our QBs. Dude, like, I'm not even trying to knock Trey Lance. I'm just saying Brock Purdy goes against the ones, right? Majority of that defense is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I give it's hard to say what percentage you give on the quarterback and what percentage you give on the defense, but it's like one of those things. Like, what would you think if the defense was getting completely torn apart by Brock? You'd be scared, right? So in a way, you want them to be good against Brock, but then if they're too good against Brock, is Brock suck? Same with Trey Lance. So it's like there's like this weird like balancing act as 49er fans where we got to be like, okay, how much is the defense and how much is it the quarterback's inefficient, inabilities, whether it's throwing deep with arm strength or the inability to hit layup throws, the ones like the rolling out right and hitting somebody on the move. Brock has a really problem with. I forgot who I was listening to on KNBR, but it's like, it's such a gimme play. And it's almost like, if you guys remember Chuck Knobloch with the Yankees, he couldn't throw to first base anymore.
Yes.
It's almost a mental block with Trey. It's not a physical thing. I don't know. And maybe, and with Brock just doesn't have the arm on some throws. There's reasons why guys, but we know this already.
Right. So. And they're all doing some of the same things. Brock skips a pass. Trey skips a pass. Like, notice that, guys, it's football, man. They trying to go out there and kind of like find a way to perfect their craft while learning all the football jargon, while making sure people are lined up in the right spot. And I see a lot of people saying, like, I left off Jalen Graham. I didn't. I just didn't even get to his name because he was going to be that 6th or 7th. Like, there's a lot of linebackers, but you can't keep them all. And where is Jalen Graham playing? Is he with the first team? Is he with the second team? Is he with the third team? So you got to factor that in, because if he's with the third team and he's showing out, that's good. But it's almost like varsity, JV, freshman football. That's how you got to kind of look at this depth chart. First team, second team, third team. So if he's with the freshman guys, the young guys, and he's balling out, that's great. He's standing out. Maybe he's ready to move up to the second team. And so we got to just see, like you said, D. Winters on the second team got that pick from Trey Lance. How much was that on Trey Lance? How much was that on D. Winters making a play? We'll see. But at the end of the day, like, everybody is trending up. And it doesn't really matter what team they're on, because if you find a way to stand out, that's the key. How do you move from freshman to JV? You keep making
Got the ball
plays,
out.
right?
Yep.
Right. How do you move from JV to varsity? You keep making plays. You do things that make you stand out. And so that's what I like. But here's the thing. You can only pick 53.
Yeah.
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 And you
It's
pray.
a good problem. It's a good problem to have.
Thank you.
You
Thank
can go
you.
back to 2016, 2015, 2017, where people are like, oh, you always use that example. Well, because look, we were so bad. We had no talent. And now
We took everybody. Like we had to-
anybody, if you
yeah,
could play any
anybody.
type of football, even if it was like one game,
I'm sorry.
we would
I'm
take
not
you,
laughing
but-
at you.
man, like this team now, when you have to trade or release players or put guys on a practice squad because they're good, but you just don't have a spot for them, it's a good problem to have. Which with the Niners, to me, they're almost like they have a farm team, the way they develop players. Where like a guy will sit 2 years on a practice squad, all of a sudden he's a starter. So for a guy who's maybe your guy coming out of the draft who the Niners aren't going to start, relax.
You said
We'll
something
see.
that I loved. You said farm team. So I'm gonna put it that's a baseball term, and for guys that don't know in basketball, that's like the G League. And then for football, there is no league, right? And so you're hoping and praying. And now this is why I laughed, because I had to laugh. I had to laugh when I saw it, but I'm going to get to that, so leave that up there. But I'm hoping and praying that some of these players do find a way to escape to that practice squad so they can get that time, sign that practice squad contract, and continue to be on the developmental portion for the San Francisco 49ers. But here's the thing. If a player gets cut by the Niners, there's, I would say, a 75% chance them guys get picked up by somebody else, especially if they're a disciple team from the 49ers. Yep. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. Kurt, my man, I could not help but bust out laughing because if you watched, I gotta talk to Coach Wilkes. I gotta let him know he gotta be a little different at the pressers, yo. Because if you watch him and they asked about Ambry Thomas, well, yeah, man, I'm just gonna put it in my words. He just got a lot of work to do. And then you asked about Deshaun Jameson. Whew, that kid, man, that kid is something different. He's something special. He just clearly told us Ambry Thomas is on the bubble, bro. Like, his ass is probably not going to be a 49er. And that sucks because I really wanted to see this kid, push through. But, hey, maybe this just isn't the system for him. Sometimes people are system fit. And if Ambry Thomas doesn't make the roster, like, I'm still going to be one of his supporters. He's a Go Blue. He's a Michigan guy. At the end of the day, I want the best people on this team to give us the best opportunity to win. I hope you guys know that. And so Deshaun Jameson is trending up. And Ambry Thomas is not the only DB that's trending down. We have a lot. A.J. Parker's on this team. I'm not saying he's trending down, but we got a lot of DBs. That's why I said everybody's worried about the quarterback room. Yo, what about the cornerbacks? What about the DBs, period? There's safeties. Taylor Hawkins, like, does he bump up, right? Tashawn Gibson ain't losing his starting spot. He's just not going anywhere. Which, for Tig, that sucks. Because Tig probably wants to play football. Unfortunately, Tig, this might be a year where you just get the kind of red shirt a little bit. We'll put you in when we put you in. And which is good for him. It prolongs his career. But it's somebody in the chat said it's really hard to make this team.
It's good. Yeah, let me see if I can find it here.
If you can find it. It's really hard. And that's how you want it to be. It's really hard to make this team. Here's why Ambry Thomas is, first of all, y'all gonna stop coming at that young man. Let me tell you something. Why is Ambry Thomas? First of all, Brandon Ayuk is torching everybody. Demo, everybody. Yeah. But why is Ambry Thomas on Brandon Ayuk all the time? Every clip we see, he's on Ambry Thomas. I mean, he's like,
okay, guys, we're about to do a clip for the video for the website. Ambry, be the sacrificial lamb. Sorry.
The thing is, it's not like he's not getting burnt though. he just plays off. He gives up those yards underneath, and he's there to make the tackle. That's it. But Brandon Ayuk is consistently doing that to everybody. So
Yeah,
I just want y'all to
not
know,
just Ambry.
right? It's not just Ambry.
Couldn't find it, unfortunately.
Well, it's okay, but it's not just Ambry. But because of that, it's not helping Ambry either. It's not. Ambry might want to take a different receiver. Like, yeah, coach, I can't be on this side. I'll get on. I'll get on Debo or something or whatever. But if Ambry's working with the ones, what does that tell you?
I don't know. They just want to show somebody getting clapped in the videos, so they just put.
Oh, you stupid! That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
I know.
I got to give you the boo for that.
Oh.
But
that's part of the type of 49er fan that I am, though. I'm a New Yorker.
Hey, man, if he's trash,
I got a little bit of like, if you just listen, and I know people always say, well, you can't play sports. You're right, and that's why I'm not playing them. That was always the thing. Like, if you trash a basketball player or a football player, people are like, but you're garbage. You've never played. I'm like, okay, I'm a fan. Fans, I'm not like attacking the guys personally. I'm just saying.
Oh,
like,
no.
like, they're looking for somebody to get clapped on the video, so they put him out. I don't know what his problem is. Is he man? Is he zone? What's his problem? Is it a strength thing? Is it a
think he's confused,
thing?
Man.
Or is he just overwhelmed? The problem is they signed that Isaiah Oliver, who a lot of people are saying he's doing pretty well in camp.
I watched him get burnt too.
For Daryl. You watched him get burnt. Everyone's going to get burnt against this team, though.
That's my point.
That's why it's going to be a hard measuring stick. When you got Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, Christian McCaffrey, and Elijah Mitchell when he's healthy, and a smattering of other guys that you can move in there.
That's my point.
Think about this: the Niners back in the '80s had a defense that was going against Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Roger Craig.
I can't even tell you
Jones.
the DBs from the '80s, bro. Maybe Eric Wright. Maybe Eric
Don
Wright.
Griffin,
Don
Eric
Griffin.
Wright.
Yeah.
Chet Brooks.
Yeah. Only one that makes
Scooter Magruder.
Okay. All right.
I know Bash could remember a lot of them.
But my point is, they weren't names. To me, Eric Wright would have been.
Don Griffin was a pretty good corner.
Okay. I thought Eric Wright was good as well.
Tim McKyer was a really good corner. Magruder was in the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, but when you're going up against Jerry Rice and John Taylor and those guys, I mean, they were pretty. They got. It probably made them better against other offenses.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's the whole iron. Everybody. It's the same old. It's a tired cliche, but the whole iron sharpens iron thing. When it comes to sports, it is relevant. It's extremely relevant. If you're going against scrubs in practice and you have a false sense of greatness, and then you go against a real player in the game, then you're like, wow, I really suck. I'm not good at all. So I'm glad have the biggest degree of difficulty going against you in practice.
Yeah.
Well, it's you imagine thinking you're dope and good and everything's great, and then you go into a game because you're going against like bottom feeding players that wouldn't make it on a USFL team.
I got you.
Yeah.
Football was different back then too. There's a lot more better. That doesn't make sense. There's a lot more.
They're more athletically gifted nowadays. People.
You go. That's what I was gonna say. They're athletically gifted.
Always likes to use the plumbers and custodians, people going against Michael Jordan because he's a LeBron guy. And I'm like, come on, dude.
But you knew where I was going with that,
huh?
You knew where I was going. Like,
yeah.
Today's
I totally
game is
understand
different.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, guys are way more in shape now. Guys also get hurt way more now too.
That is true. Reason. It's because they don't eat. It's because the food is different, Aaron. They don't eat the same real stuff that we ate. Like that players probably ate. Players used to eat racks of ribs and stuff like that, and things like that. These players are lean and strong. They're not just. Look, I saw a picture of Steve Young at a Pro Bowl. He had zero muscles. Shown, like he just you just couldn't tell he had muscles. There obviously has muscles.
Just a normal white guy, pale arm. That's all he had.
Look, Brett Favre, zero muscles. Every quarterback today is ripped, bro. Ripped. It's just a different makeup on how these players train to be machines in college. Myzel, what's going on?
He says, I don't know why, but even though I subscribe and notifications on, I don't get alerts. YouTube, y'all suck, man. Everybody has this problem. Fix it.
Yeah, I don't
Especially
get
if
it.
if it's it pisses me off that's still me and Bash are always talking about that. Montana had no muscles. Montana was a skinny twig like me in high school. Like I could have been Joe Montana.
But put Montana next to like Brock Purdy. Brock is more ripped. Even Jimmy Garoppolo had muscles. Like that's the difference. Like they're just built differently because I don't know.
There you go. Somebody went and Googled it.
These are some of it's Dwight Hicks. Okay, so I remember Dwight
Hicks, Carlton Williamson, Eric Wright, Ronnie
I was
Lott,
just thinking
Chet Brooks,
of corners.
Jeff Fuller, who got a really bad injury in '89 that's forced him to retire.
Yes.
I forgot exactly. It was like some sort of something that happened where he lost the ability with his arm or something. Like it was a collision. Don Griffin, Tim McKyer, Deion Sanders, Eric Davis, Tim McDonald, Merton Hanks, from memory, need more.
That's a good list though. Like, but
really good list.
But my point is,
Eric Davis was there in 1992.
Yeah, but
I don't remember.
Yeah, him and then Deion came in '94. But my point is, like compared to today, like it's like these like our DBs today are more athletic. They're stronger. They're faster. What like how? It's just tough. It's just tough. But I like our DBs going against this offense, and I like our offense going against the DBs. That's all I'm trying to say. Like that's how they're getting stronger.
That's why you gotta, when you look at camp reports, you have to kind of use your brain and separate. Like, okay, I'm hearing guys are getting torched, but then you find out, oh, it's Debo and Ayuk that are torching them. Oh, okay. It's not Juwan Jennings or like a fifth string wide receiver that's gassing them. They're getting gassed by guys that are legitimately, Pro Bowl players, all pro players. So like you have to kind of take that into account. Listen, I love Eric Davis, but he got smoked a lot back in the day on defense. He was, I hate to say it, but Michael Irvin owned him for a career like that. That was it's just what it is sometimes. He was still a great player, but he struggled against certain guys. Michael Irvin was one of them. But let's I want to talk about Brandon Ayuk real quick.
Excellent, because I want to talk about the wide receivers. So now we talked about the DBs, but let's start with Ayuk.
He's having a great camp. That's the report. Everybody you hear, you could be a YouTuber like me, or the guys that are there that have content, and then you could be the big time guys like Barrows and Mayoka, and everybody's just telling you that Ayuk looks like a different. He looks like a man possessed, and that's great to hear. Excellent. Shoot, I hope think about this. That he's the fourth or fifth option, or was it a fourth option in a run first team? If that's your fourth option,
I think that lit some.
It lit him up. It lit him up.
Yes, I'm like that. That lit a fire in his tush. Because he's making it known, Kyle Shanahan, to give me the damn ball. I love when wide receivers do that, though. Like, give me the ball. Like, just give me the ball. Like, I need the ball. Like, you need to get me the ball. And if he has that mindset, so whenever he gets the ball, it's like he's never going to get the ball again. So if you feel like you're never going to get the ball again, what are you going to do? You're going to make something happen with the ball. And so, like, BA is on a whole... Number one, he's from another planet. Number two, he's probably reaching wherever planet he's from at this moment because and the season hasn't even started yet. And so, you know what they're consistently saying? When you ask the players about BA, you ask a coach about BA, oh my gosh, his route running. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, even Mooney Ward, like, last year he came into camp good, but this year, he's just like, this guy knows how to get open. He knows how to create separation. And that's what you need from your wide receivers, especially the type of wide receiver that BA is. He's not the guy that's going to go out there and outrun a 4-3 guy. Like, that's not what he does. But he's the type that'll go out there and utilize that 4.3 speed against hit that 4.3 guy and get open. And so as long as the quarterback and BA's on the same page, he's high point guy, he can go up and catch the ball. He comes down with the ball like that. Like he's just different. He's in a different stratosphere at this moment.
And he's become more of a team leader too.
And he's by example, though.
When he got here, he was quiet. He seemed uncomfortable. He
Yes.
seemed anxiety-ridden. He's come into his own, and I think the experience that some of these players, when they go through, where they get close to winning and they don't, it wakes up something inside of people who maybe have a personality that is not as fiery, or they come off like maybe they don't care, or they have like a indifferent type of personality. You get close a couple times and almost get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, a guy like Ayuk becomes this vocal leader, or just a leader, and just how he takes his career now really seriously, and how he's just become and hopefully blossoms into this guy that we all think he can be. You think about him, and then let's talk about Debo almost getting hurt yesterday. That was scary. I heard about that. I'm like, no.
I'm just curious why we not talk about the hospital ball pass from what I'm
Brock
hearing.
Purdy? Yeah, I heard Brock Purdy try to put him out of business.
But those balls got to go. I thought those balls left
with Jimmy.
Yeah, but you know what? And what from what we heard, and what we didn't see it, but from what we heard, it was an immaculate catch, right? It was just like amazing. He went up, but at the end of the day, like Debo, man, you got to play 16 games if you can, 17 games if you can. So try, it's just practice. It
looked like it looked like he just came down and knocked the wind out of himself.
That's what I'm hearing.
Because he's kind of a squashy guy, you know what I mean? So,
I've been telling people, Debo, like his rookie year, he can go up a high point of ball. But they don't utilize him that way. They utilize him in the screen game. Sort of kind of not a slot guy, a different type, but kind of like a Julian Edelman type player.
Well, I mean, if you watch him, he doesn't have the greatest ability to get open downfield. It's tough.
He did.
Quarterback's got to really put it out there, and it's got to be a perfect throw. Or Ayuk, I don't know.
You're right.
He's
right.
got a more compact frame.
You're 100%
correct. Can't exactly high point balls. I mean, unless he's got.
I disagree.
You should probably go too at the same time with that.
No, because at the end of the day, like you are right? But I think I guarantee we're going to see a different Debo this year.
I hope so.
The mindset is different.
Save it for the season, though, please.
Okay.
Save it for the season. 1980 draft. Thank you for the $10 super. Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, Dwight Hicks was the only vet. They called Dwight Hicks
hot.
Yep, hot licks. The only team to win a Super Bowl fielding 3 rookies in the secondary. Yep, I remember that. I mean, not personally. I learned it a little bit later down in the 80s, but the hot licks. And it's funny, Ronnie Lott started as a cornerback too.
Yes.
And then became a safety. I think, was he a Pro Bowler as a corner as well as a safety?
I think he made Pro Bowl as both.
Come on, Bash, let us know. Because I'm pretty sure that was the case. That just tells you.
I think he did that, and Rod Woodson did that.
Yes.
And I want to say Charles Woodson did that.
Possibly, yes. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's what's going to happen to Richard Sherman." I'm like, "Nah, Richard Sherman was pretty much he was beat."
Well, he didn't want to play safety, and I bet you if Richard Sherman would have played safety, oh man, he probably would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have preserved his body a little bit.
He would have been nice. He didn't have to have speed. He is the best. I will say, this is tough. Richard Sherman might be one of the best cornerbacks that played angles. So he played cornerback like a safety. Go figure, right? That's how he played corner. And when he got older, you saw that he lacked the speed, but he played with the quarterback's mind a lot. So he was still able to be effective until he got injured with the Niners. You know what I'm saying? But look.
So he faced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and it was
the whole damn defense wore down in that game. But he gave up a big play. Like, it happened.
Such is life. We got about we don't have too much. I'm trying to do like a what do you call it?
I see like a speed, like get like Guys, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
we talked about edge rusher. We didn't talk too much about the offensive line. We did talk about linebacker.
I mean, the offensive line looks like the offensive line week 2 of training camp. They still figuring shit out. And on top of that, you're dealing with a couple of injuries, not to the starters. Well, Aaron Banks with the concussion. He's in the concussion protocol, so that's
Aaron
a
Banks
question
with the
mark.
concussion, Feliciano with a shoulder, Jalen Moore with a bone bruise.
Yep. And Jalen Moore, I believe is day to day. So hopefully he'll be back this upcoming week to practice against the Raiders and stuff like that. So look, it's not good. I feel like the offensive line is going to be fine. So not really much to report from the offensive line.
Not really.
Don't know how he got the concussion at the end of the day. I can't tell you that.
Kinlaw reports that he looks good in camp, which to me it's kind of like it's about time. But
Yeah,
if you listen to Kasurik though, and this is why I'll bring it down. I'll bring down my jerk level.
Thank you. I had to bring mine back. I had to eat crow.
The man had he's had a lot of physical issues.
Listen.
And this is essentially the first training camp where he's felt good so far.
Well,
and when you see his ability now that he's not hampered by pain and injuries, he's not going to get another contract with the 49ers. This is just not going to happen. But if he has a great season, he's going to do a lot to make himself some money come next free agency. Maybe the Niners do bring him back in a rotational thing next year, but this is a huge season for him. And his body's in shape. He's slim. It takes weight off of his knees. But yeah, because Kasurik almost was emotional defending him when I watched that clip, and I was like, all right, I got to not be so mean because I'm going based on my personal feelings toward a player because of how he treated a certain member of the media, and I just thought it was, I didn't think it was right. But I mean, he hasn't proved anything on the field yet, so I can't even say that it's because of his poor play. He really hasn't proven anything. So if he can come out this year and play well and he's healthy, who knows? Maybe they bring him back or he makes himself money going to another squad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to make like top money if you're a rotational player, unless your numbers are just like astronomical. Like if he finishes with like 13, 14, 15 sacks, the kid's gonna go get paid, and then he would price himself out of San Francisco, right? But I think the Niners, if he does have a good healthy year consistently and shows consistent, all I want Kinlaw to do is continue to find ways to make tackles for loss and keep the runs, the rushing yards down. When I watch guys run up the middle on us, it pisses me off because you're saying like, how don't the linebackers make those tackles? Because the damn defensive tackles again push back into the second tier of the defense.
Well, that's not the type of defense we run though. The linebackers in this type of defense are not really supposed to take on the runners like that. They're just not built for that. They're a faster, free-flowing defense that they're supposed to be able to. No,
they still got to fill those gaps.
Right, but they were getting to the second level so easily in the NFC Championship game. It was insane.
Because they were sending 2 or 3 people at that Kinlaw, who was way in the back in the midfield, and now your linebackers are taking on offensive tackles. That's
the point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
defensive line in this particular scheme is supposed to eat up blocks so that the linebackers can flow to the ball, make plays. When the linebackers who are 225 pounds, 230 pounds, whatever Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw are, and you're going against a 330-pound offensive lineman, good luck.
That's it.
Good luck. It's not going to happen. Sean Shepard, again, with a $10 super, he says Lott played out of position at cornerback and was an all-pro. Lott came out of USC, played with Sean Smith, Dave Waymer, and Kenny Easley. Lott is the only to go to a Pro Bowl at cornerback, strong safety, and
free safety. He played both safety positions.
Strong and free safety. And he says he's my favorite player. Yeah, he was that man. He could play. He couldn't play now, man, because he'd be getting fined left and right. But yeah, definitely him and Montana were my 2 guys from the original dynasty. To me, Jerry Rice is the greatest football player that's ever lived. To me. But as far as players from that era, a lot in Montana, of course. But that's easy. That's easy money, of course. It's easy. So let's go to real quick. We're at right about an hour here. Front office news, real quick. I don't know if this was talked about the last time we were here, but Frank Gore has a front office role,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Goldson
Personnel guy.
is part of the coaching staff in some form or fashion. I don't know exactly if he's just in on meetings or just learning.
So Gold, yeah, it's more like an apprenticeship type program with the
Okay,
Bill
yeah,
Walsh
that's what I
program you're
thought.
talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, so like he was selected to work with the DBs. So he's going to be in those DB meetings like the coaches and things like that, and he's going to learn what it's like to be a coach in the NFL. And if things go well, he'll get that recommendation, and possibly he'll be a NFL DB coach at some point in his his career. So that's good news for him. As far as Frank Gore, man, look, I want him, if he's gonna give us advice on who to get talent wise, F it. Let it ride. Like Frank Gore can spot talent. I felt like he was helping with some of the draft picks, even this particular past draft. Frank Gore's the man. Like he's a 49er through and through. I know he ended up on several other teams in the AFC East, like
He's still
all
a
of them.
49er to me.
He's always going to be a Niner. But hey, he's with the Niners. He's in the front office, and he's going to be a personnel advisor. So I love it.
That makes me very happy. Two guys from another era coming back to be part of this current squad. You can only make us better.
Two tough guys too, like
two really tough guys.
Tough guys.
And then the last thing, real quick, is Moody, the kicker, is looked money in camp.
Yeah. I was talking to believe it was, I'm not sure, I think it was John Chapman, and he was just saying it's interesting because, Zane was getting a lot of the, the special team reps, and then Moody would come in, blah, blah, blah. But then there was a time where now Moody's taking over that. So hopefully this is a trend upwards. He saw him kick that 60-plus yarder. I believe on yesterday he missed. He was like 4 for 5. Like he
missed a long one. I might have been.
It was 55. I think it was 55. Yeah. Well, that's what I saw in the report. It might be longer, and it might have been longer, but he was a little upset with himself for missing that. But hey, man, you're gonna miss some. The question is, how do you, and they talked about this. They asked him about it, like, you just move on and you go to the next kick. He already has that mindset, and he's never kicked in the NFL yet. Interesting.
I'm looking forward to getting past that, kind of nervous era of like, because a lot of us are going to be nervous because he's a rookie kicker. We let a guy go who was legitimately one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL, but it was time. You're not paying $5 million for an NFL kicker. It's just not going to happen. And nobody's really making a play on Robbie Gould, which kind of tells you how people are feeling about him, at least right now. If there's an injury down the road, you never know. Of course, if they move from Zane Gonzalez, he might get a job somewhere. Somebody was like, maybe the Niners will put him on the practice squad just in case.
Nah, you're not going to waste the rock.
That would be a complete knock in the faith of your rookie kicker if you kept the kicker on the practice squad. It's not happening.
I didn't even think about it like that. But
so it was mentioned early in the offseason, and it was mentioned by somebody who he covers the 49ers, and I was just like, really? They're gonna practice squad a kicker? If you do that, you're pretty much telling the rookie, yeah, but you ain't that good. Like, you're good. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss any of the supers.
It's gonna be fun though. Next week is gonna be super fun. Matter of fact, we'll try to figure out which day we can go live next week.
Yeah.
So because that way we can preview the game. They're going to be playing the Raiders.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it's going to be a game where I don't expect to see a ton of starters in the game.
Oh, I don't think any. I don't think the majority. I don't think
so. We're gonna
start this game.
I'll have to watch. I'm gonna probably keep my eyes on of course Trey Lance if he plays.
I think Trey Lance will play. He'll start.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on some of the defensive guys. It's hard to keep your eye on everybody, so I'll do my best. I was talking to guys the other day who go to camp, and I'm like, how do you even begin to know where to look?
I know.
To pay attention to, like, I think it might have been Ted or I forgot who else, and I'm just like, I would have to just pick a position group and just be like, that's what I'm watching, because.
So I've never been to the 49ers camp, but when I went to the Senior Bowl, kind of saw the Senior Bowl is run like an NFL camp. And so the whole field is being utilized now at the SAP facility, there's 2 fields. And so like you know, it's kind of like a pick your poison. What do you want to watch first? Do you want to walk down this way and focus on the line, watch the trench guys? You want to watch the skill set guys? Are you watching the one-on-ones? So it's just ton of stuff going on and on. And then when they get to the 7-on-7s, you watch that. And then when they get to the 11-on-11s, you watch that for the first, second, third team. So that's kind of like the order of operations. You watch the workout. You watch the one-on-ones. You pick what you want to focus on. Do you want to watch the line, the defensive line go against the offensive line? Do you want to watch receivers go against corners? You want to watch running backs against linebackers? You pick the one-on-ones. You want to see who can win those battles. And then after those, that sound goes, you know what I'm saying? Then you're going to get down to the 7-on-7s and then the 11-on-11. So that's kind of like how it works.
Yeah, I think with me, because I have really bad ADD, I would probably, like I said, I'd focus on a position group and then kind of work out from there. Maybe
Yeah.
see if I could watch position group and skill players at the same time. You know, like to me, it's just I see some of these guys, and I was hearing reports from the guys that watch training camp, like Rohan Chakravarti, and everyone's like, if you miss something, just turn to him because he's got it in his notes because he's just that good at keeping notes. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe I will go to a Niners camp and just sit right next to Rohan and, make myself look smarter than I really am. But hey, guys and gals, thanks for coming through. We're going to get out of here. Breezy's got a busy day ahead of him, but we appreciate the support massively. Thank you for the supers. Thank you for the comments. Sorry I wasn't as active in the comments, but it's I'm concentrating, kind of trying to keep this thing to as close to an hour as possible. We'll be back sometime next week. We'll figure that out. And then when I get back to work, we'll have to figure out, with my schedule, if it's feasible or possible to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it for sure. But everybody, Mazel tov. Have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. And remember, as always, go Niners.